Ombaba, and welcome back to Precious Identity. So, the last episode was very technical, talking about patriarchy, breaking down how patriarchy steals these identities from men and women and all other genders, and really laying the framework, the foundation for why patriarchy helps nobody, how patriarchy is made up. But now we're going to go into some of the more practical ways that we understand our relationships with men and how those relationships cannot be the basis for our identity. They can't be the basis for our awareness of self. It cannot be the basis for our sense of safety. Because I can tell you one thing, if patriarchy ain't helping men, there ain't no way no man can help us. Okay? That's for real. If patriarchy is not helping men, ain't no way no man can help us, okay? In no real way, all right? But today we're going to talk about the patriarchy cheat code, because we already know that men have to believe in the patriarchy. They have to function in it for it to work, but it also has to cheat every other gender expression into making it work as well. And the cheat code is overworking. All right. The cheat code for patriarchy to continue to work is us overworking for our sense of safety and belonging. Now, we know as human beings, our nervous system is just wired to be safe and to belong. Period. Because back in the olden days, if you was not safe, then you was getting killed. And if you didn't belong, you was getting killed. So now it's just the reality of it. It's important to have safety. It's important to belong, because those are just basic human needs. Those are those primal needs that drive the way we work, the way we live, the way we see ourselves. And that is important, but patriarchy kind of skews that to create this sense of safety and belongingness in our relationships to men. And it don't have to be romantic now. A lot of this is going to be heteronormative, romantic ways, because that's what I can know and that's what I can speak to. But it ain't got to be that way, because we know that the binary ain't real. We know that patriarchy is made up and has made this binary something that we exist in. But we know it ain't real. We know it's more than two genders. We know it's a lot of gender expressions, a lot of sexualities, a lot of things that are not what patriarchy and the binary of gender have created for us. And it's important to remember that these things don't even have to deal with just romantic partners, but it could be like your family, your co-workers. It can be the man down the street, the man that's in front of you in the grocery store. It could be whatever. There are instances where people who do not benefit from patriarchy, people who are not cisgender men who do not benefit from patriarchy, because don't nobody benefit quite as a scale. People who are not cisgender men who don't benefit from patriarchy are overworking themselves to create a sense of safety and belonging, okay? People who don't benefit from patriarchy, who are not cisgender men, okay, they are overworking to create safety and belonging, okay? And I love to give this example, not only because I love telling the story, but it also is it's on a small scale, okay? It's on an interpersonal scale, it's on a romantic scale. So it's on like a small scale. And it's not even with a bad person or a bad dude. It's just a man who benefits from patriarchy that has been a disservice to him, and now he is a disservice to the world, okay? But it's a great example to show how much we overwork, because it shows it in the small ways. It shows it in the ways that are so natural for us to overwork so we can be safe and we can have a sense of belonging, okay? So this story is about how I overwork to create safety and belonging, and that safety and belonging came from being with this man, okay? Because if he chose me, somehow I belonged, and if he chose me, somehow I could be safe and I could just relax, okay? Relax my mind. And that's a dream that's sold to us, especially people who are socialized as women. You are so just dreaming everything that you do that it is the romantic relationship with men that is going to save you, that's going to be worth it, because everything is about getting the ring or being in love. We know that women get more respect and more protection when they're in romantic relationships with men. They get more protection if they're procreating with men. All of the signs and the symbols say that you have to have a sense of belonging by having a relationship with a man that is romantic and long. Okay, you gotta have some longevity, because if you're divorced, then you're paid dust. Okay, if you can't keep no man, then you're gonna get talked about. All right. But there are these ways that we overwork to create safety and belonging, and that's all. So much of that safety and belonging has been tied to our romantic relationships with men. So start this story by saying, I know better now, but that I didn't know as much, and I forgive her. You know what I'm saying? Because she needed love too. Okay, she wanted to be safe and she wanted to belong, so she was overworking. Okay, so there was this man that I work with or whatever, and I was liking him or whatnot, and I was like, you know what? We spend a lot of time together. We do this and this and this and this and this and that, and I mean, just such a nice person. Spent a lot of time with me, taking care of me in ways that I needed at the time. And so, of course, we liking each other because I'm a baddie and he was cute. So we liking each other, and I'm just like, okay, I like you. And we had this discussion about it. And we have this discussion that says, this is what it is, this is what we want, and this is what the outcome may or may not be, okay? So we decide, like mature adults, what we want to have, because we didn't know what we wanted. It was very clear. But we decided, okay, this is going to be like a situationship type thing, and we'll just see what happens. And so that happened a good month and a half, good 2 months. And then he does this check-in. Okay, how do you think things are going? Do you feel like the pace of what we're doing is good? And I'm just like, oh, we're having a check-in about, is the pace going somewhere else? Okay, so I'm thinking like, okay, it's going pretty okay. I'm not expecting too much. We're not doing too much. We're just talking on the phone all the time, texting all the time, just really having some sense of building that is leading to something a little bit more serious than we expected. Okay, I'm always say we ain't know what we want, so we just talking, we ain't had no sense, but it's okay because I forgive myself. So anyway, the progression is fine, it's going good, all things going good. Oh, but he reached his capacity. He reached his capacity to give to me and care for me, and it showed. Okay, it showed, and things started to dwindle. Less and less. He stopped calling me, stopped answering the phone, stopped texting me, and I would just see him around, and then I'd be like, what's going on? And then I'd get a message, oh, I'm so sorry, this is what's happening, somebody died, the earth got flat, water started being dry, all these things that just were excuses for the fact that he just reached his capacity to care for me in that way. But I am stubborn and I am determined, and I don't like being disrespected or feeling disrespected. So I just went over to him, and I went over to his house, and I said, sir, is we talking or not? And I was just very clear about it. I surprised myself because I really don't like confrontation. I don't like to talk to nobody like that, but I was just like very clear and very direct, because baby, you're not gonna just leave and then not say nothing about it, and I gotta see you all the time. So we had that conversation. Because he had reached his capacity to care and love for me, he didn't have the words or the compassion that you would think he would have, and he just was like, I don't feel like. Eventually, it took us 5 minutes to get to this point, because it's like pulling baby teeth. Well, I don't feel like I'm in the place to be dating right now. And so I said, okay. I went on to work like I was supposed to. I went to Chick-fil-A, went to the bathroom, I cried, I called my mama, and she came pick me up. And then I went home. And after that, of course, I'm seeing this person a lot, just trying to be a cool girl and like not trying to be confrontational and not really dragging it, not telling nobody about it, just really grieving in silence and dealing with it in silence while this person moved on and did everything they wanted to do, which is neither here nor there. But so much of that relationship was just me overworking because I needed to keep him so I could feel safe and so I could feel like I belong. Because everybody else I'm in my 30s, everybody else getting married, okay? Everybody else got a man, they got kids and all that kind of stuff, and I'm over here just as single as a single girl can be. But I was overworking to create safety and belonging through a relationship with this man. I was overworking to prove something about myself that will override what he knew about himself. Now, the story sounds crazy, but it's gonna get crazier when I go back in retrospect and say what was happening. So, because I'm so used to overworking for a sense of belongingness, and I'm so used to proving my worth to people, I'm so used to extending more so that I could be appreciated, or I can achieve, or I can have the most, or I can be rewarded for my good behavior. I'm so used to it, so ingrained in me. I wasn't listening to what he was saying because he was pretty much telling me that he ain't had no capacity. He don't have the capacity. He'll just try to pull you in so he can get something that makes him feel worthy of something, but he ain't got the capacity to get it back. So even if we go back to the very first beginning of how we were spending time together, he didn't say nothing to me. He would just be in my face and spend time with me and not say nothing to me. Because if you like me, all you gotta do is just say it. Like, it don't take that much. But of course, I'm the one that's saying it. And I don't know, you do whatever you want to do. I won't be doing that no more. But it was up to me to kind of break that emotional barrier to get us to the conversation. In the conversation, I didn't realize I did not really want a situationship, but I know more now. We didn't know what we was doing. We didn't know what we was talking about. We was just talking and had no sense. But it was just so clear that he did not want a relationship. He said it. He's like, I know that I don't want a relationship. And I'm just like, okay, fine. Because I'm, thinking like, okay, maybe if I show my worth, I'm thinking that. I might not be thinking that here, but my nervous system is thinking that. My little girl is thinking like, okay, cool. They've been telling me all this time that I needed to have a man to show my worth. So girl, let me show how much my worth is so I can get into this relationship, so I can prove that I'm worth saving and I'm worth belonging. Okay? Going back to another conversation we had where he said, well, I don't want to hurt you. Now, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, but if a man tell you I don't want to hurt you, he's finna hurt you, okay? Because he knows that's his capacity, okay? But of course, I'm overworking, trying to prove how much I am cool, how much I am worthy, to override what he know about himself, okay? He telling me about himself and his capacity, but I'm trying to overwork, okay? So I can have this sense of safety and belonging, because so much of my engineering and socialization has been geared towards creating safety and belonging through a romantic relationship with a man, okay? So when things, of course, start to dwindle and start to change, instead of me being like, okay, girl, I don't have to do this no more because I don't want to, I don't need to, it's not making my life any better, it's only making me more sad and making my life worse. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just like trying to be cool or trying to be understanding or be gracious, especially when I did not need to do any of those things. And not because he wasn't worth those things, but because they were overworking me. Because I'm over here in emotional distress trying to figure out why this man not talking to me no more. And whatever he doing, it doesn't matter, because whatever he doing ain't caring for my emotional distress. It ain't coming back to say, oh, this might not be a good feeling for you, so let me even just help you navigate it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, overworking to prove something about myself that overrides what he know about himself, okay? In the end, when I had to come over to his house to tell him, ask him what the freak was going on, overworking. I could have just walked away, but I'm so used to overworking. I'm so used to having to prove my worth. I'm so used to knowing that my safety and belonging has to come from this romantic relationships, and I need to get somewhere with this man to prove something about myself. It becomes this idea, well, I have to overwork. I have to show up in this way. And of course, it don't make me feel no better. It make me feel worse. And then not only that, but he gets to decide what he wants, and he gets to do what he wants with no regard for me, while I am trying to protect his reputation and his image by not saying nothing, by grieving and looking sad everywhere I go. So all of this to say, so much of the overworking is just ingrained in the way that we live our life, okay? So much of the overworking is overlooked because we've been told that you have to be nice, you have to be gracious, you have to be understanding, even to people who don't have the capacity to do that for you, okay? Overworking to prove something about myself to override what he already knows about himself. And that doesn't just go with like romantic relationships. They can go with like jobs, or with your daddy, your uncles, your cousins, your brothers, or whatever, your neighbors, whatever it is. Often we find ourselves overworking to create safety and belonging. Now, sometimes that overworking is like being in the street at night, or even in the daytime, and you rejecting a man, and you got to do it nice with a smile, or you got to not wear too short skirts and not have your breasts out, or you got to wear your hair this way but not this way, or whatever. All of this overworking ain't got nothing to do with what I want to do with my life, with my body, with my mind and myself, because I have been taught to overwork for my safety and belonging. It is so funny. It's so funny to watch it play out in real time. Like a lot of my pop culture examples are gonna be reality TV examples, because I love to especially watch like love reality shows, because I think that it's so interesting to see the dynamics play out. So this season, this summer I watched Love Island again. And of course I have my girl Olandria, who is a fan favorite, but she is also my favorite. I think a lot of us identify with her because of her power, her innate power, her capacity for compassion and goodness, her being a black woman, being a dark-skinned woman, her just having those strong features and being a force to be reckoned with. We see so much of ourselves in her. We see so much of what we want to be in who she is, and that's why I think she's a fan favorite with a lot of longevity. So I'm watching Love Island, and of course, Olandria was first with Taylor, right? Okay. So I was trying to explain this to some man. He was driving me around, and I was just like explaining Love Island to him. And so it was like a daughter-father thing, and he was just like, that's interesting. So it was just funny. But I was converting him to the religion of Love Island. But anyway, Olandria was with Taylor at first, okay? She picked him because she said she wanted this, and he was the one that showed up or whatever, and he expressed that he had that. So Taylor don't like Olandria, but the nature of the show is you have to be in a couple to be safe. If you're not in a couple, you gotta go, okay? So this man don't like her. He telling everybody else he don't like her except for her, and she is really trying to make it work. She is overworking herself to keep herself safe, like literally safe, to stay on this island, protecting him so he could be safe. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not only responsible for her safety, but also for his safety, okay? So the first time I saw her just overworking, she had a conversation with him the night before talking about how she doesn't feel like they're progressing at the level of other people's. and she's questioning his his admiration for her. And of course he's saying, well, yeah, I do like you, I do, blah 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 blah, knowing that he didn't, knowing that he don't feel it, and knowing that he didn't want it. Okay. But she has this conversation and reassures her enough to keep going, to keep overworking, that she is over here making breakfast for this man. Now, if you don't watch Love Island, the cultural norm in this place is for the men to be making breakfast for the women. And they bring the breakfast to the people they like, and they want to show that they like them or whatever, so they bring them the breakfast. She is making the breakfast for him to prove to him that she likes him. And he is telling another person he don't find her physically attractive. These are words that came out of his mouth. And it's such a great example just to see how quickly the overworking happens. Even though we see or we feel that this is not working for me. Now, granted, there were no other men on the island that she really felt like she could connect with or anything like that. So Taylor was kind of it for her. But so much of this overworking, like even changing the cultural norms to make him feel more secure and safe so she could be secure and safe and belong, so much of that work was for nothing. Okay? Because as soon as he found what he really wanted, as soon as he found what he really was looking for, he had zero respect for her. She had to leave the island because he wanted her to leave. He didn't want her to pursue him anymore. He didn't want her to disrespect the other woman. He wanted to continue to play both sides of the fence between the two women, even though he was so clear that he liked this other person because he never said a bad word about her. Not only that, but he also went around doing things for her in a way that he wanted to make her feel like she was safe and belonged. While Olandria, the person who had been working herself to create safety for him and belongingness for herself, meant nothing anymore. And that example is just so crazy to watch because we as the audience can see it so clear that this man don't like her. And we as the audience can see like that she needs to do better. She needs to figure it out. And I'm just like, so much of our lives, we are doing what Olandria has been doing. We are overworking ourselves to create some sense of safety and belonging through relationships with these men. And it's so funny because your man don't like you. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell that this person that you were with was not going to be a great person to be in a relationship with because you're so used to overworking. Or you can't tell that your boss is going to steal all your work and continuously disrespect you because you're so used to overworking. Or that your brother is completely incompetent, but you're so used to overworking that you don't even notice it. You just feel it in a way. And it just was so funny to watch all these people have so much to say about what she was doing, not knowing that they do it too. Not knowing that this idea of overworking for safety and belonging is just super, super ingrained in our being, especially since we don't benefit from the patriarchy. So my challenge to people that are watching is to just think about how much you think about other people. How much of your life is about making other people comfortable so you can feel safe. And I'm not talking about like being respectful in public. I'm not talking about like caring for a baby because a baby needs you. It don't have nothing. It didn't ask to be here, so you have to take care of that baby. Like a baby gotta have care. Like it don't know nothing. I'm not talking about being professional. I'm talking about like the ways that you have overworked emotionally, physically, mentally to create some sense of belonging and safety. And just think about it for like just 1 hour. How much of your time is spent overworking to create some sense of safety and belonging when you are deserving of safety and belonging because you were born? Okay? So just think about it for just 1 hour. It could be about relationships with men, or it could be about relationships with any other person or any other thing. How much time do we spend overworking to create a sense of safety and belonging? And if, as you notice how much you do, you will be just a little bit more aware. It may not change your life. You may decide that you don't want to do nothing about it. I hope you do want to do something about it, but just having that awareness so you can see where your energy is being leaked, where your energy is being stolen or given away to create something that you are already worth having in the first place. So do that for me. And we'll talk about it later.